Good morning. Just wait for the last stragglers here and we'll get started. Welcome. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Topeka. We are a community of accepting, loving individuals who support everyone regardless of their background, orientations, political views. We hope that we are able to support and foster you as part of this community. Our welcome this morning is with permission from Rachel Rott. Welcome home. There is, in this place, the possibility of healing, of repair, of making things right within ourselves, between us, and with the wider world. So our chalice lighting this morning is next. Comes from the book Spilling the Light, written by Reverend Teresa I. Soto, used with permission. Grab the utility here. Together, we chase away the sickness, the secrets, and leave only open the possibility that the future is a space for growth. And with that, I would like to invite DRE Aaron Forstein, who is a fabulous individual. I'm just a little biased, as she is the love of my life, to give this story for all ages.
Thank you, Micah. All right, children, if you would like to come up, you're kind of up already. All right. Instead of actually having a story for all ages today, we have an activity for all ages, maybe a time for all ages. I have this cool set of cards. They're called Mindful Kids cards. And they are for children ages 4 to 104. So most of us fall within that age, I think. The card I chose for today is called Sitting With It. Ease minor aches and pains. So sit mindfully with your spine straight, or as straight as your spine can be, and your body relaxed. Close your eyes. Take 3 soft, slow, mindful breaths. 1, 2, 3. Notice the pain or discomfort you have, if you have any. What does it feel like in your body? Does it feel hot, itchy, sharp, achy, stinging? Now, notice if you are squeezing your muscles tightly because of the pain. If so, take more soft, slow, mindful breaths and relax your muscles. Think of your pain as a friend who needs to tell you something important. The pain talks by being hot, achy, itchy, sharp, or stinging. Pay attention. Your pain sensations might change. Sometimes they grow stronger or weaker. Sometimes they fade away. And that's nice. Finish when you notice the pain changing even just a little bit, and open your eyes. Does everybody feel relaxed? No, not yet? Okay, we can go outside later. How about that? Okay, join me in singing This Little Light of Mine, and Estella's going to take the lantern and lead us all out. Estella, you take the lantern. You made it. Oh, wait, did I ask Eldon to carry it? I asked Arlo to carry it. I'm sorry. Estella, would you carry it later? Last week I asked Arlo. Would you like to carry it, Arlo? Thank you.
Whoa.
Are you okay?
I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. That gives us time for announcements, joys, and concerns. As I am, other than the fact that we have a joy and that we have a new minister who is joining us very shortly, first
Karen Sullivan just retired from Washburn, and she's very instrumental in, we are helping at least 3 women per week as they reenter society from the Shawnee County Jail, getting them placements and connection. These are people who have been trafficked, by the way. Also, just have a little announcement by the by. Officially, our census of homeless people in Topeka is 450. But Brian Cole from the jail says, nope, we've got 110 homeless people in jail also, so for what it's worth.
Thank you. Any other joys and concerns? No? Well, this is your time to put in the offering. Do we have some baskets? And as we go through this, I thought I would give you a little thought on offering. Your gifts allow us to support this building, to provide for the services of our new minister, and to help with outreach and other community programs that we provide. So thank you. From you I receive, from you I give, Together we share, Samias we live. Thank you for your generous gifts. Spirit of truth, of life, of power, we bring ourselves as gifts to thee. Oh, bind our hearts this sacred hour in faith and love and charity. Our first reading is a poem entitled Feel That by Gwen Matthews, with permission. Feel that? Each breath, every inhale, exhale. We are living, breathing, connected. We are the whole, the complete, beautiful selves that we were born to be. So before I begin this sermon, I wanted to tell you that this service is going to be a little shorter, I think, than normal, primarily because I have been incredibly stressed and overloaded at work. And the amount of time that I've spent on this was less than I wanted to. So please accept my apologies, but also realize that I need to follow my own advice. So with that, I'll talk about healthy society and healthy bones. Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today about health and healing. Originally, I wanted to talk about quantity versus quality, but there's almost too much information on this, so I wanted to focus on an area that's near and dear to my heart, my rib cage. We all carry scars from our childhood. As the world is not a perfect place, our parents are not perfect, our bodies, down to our very genetics, are not perfect. But consider yourself lucky to be here. Why? As described by Bill Bryson in his book, A Short History of Nearly Everything, not one of your pertinent ancestors was squashed, devoured, drowned, starved, stranded, stuck fast, untimely wounded, or otherwise deflected from its life's quest to deliver a teeny charge of genetic material to the right partner at the right moment in order to perpetuate the only possible sequence of heredity combinations that could result eventually, astoundingly, in all too briefly, in you. If you haven't read A Brief History of Nearly Everything, I recommend it, but it will require some discipline to finish because it is a very long, long book, but it's worth the read. All the scars that we carry are a testament to the incredible ability to heal ourselves and to do more than mindlessly exist. But sometimes those scars remind us not of self-healing, but as a testament to the love and care that we share as a society for each other. Paraphrasing Margaret Mead, the very basis of civilization is wrapped in the oldest bones of our ancestors, who, upon study, presented evidence that they cared for each other, and in doing so became our first medical practitioners. really starting what is now our society. Medicine and medical science are both evidence of our desire to create and build a society, but also to live a life of health and joy with others who are healthy and joyful. The more we learn about ourselves, our bodies, and our minds, we start to understand that everything is connected. As many of you know, I am a biomedical engineer. That is, I am an engineer who applies engineering principles, tools, and methods to the fields of medicine. But after 30 years, if nothing else, I have a greater appreciation for the incredible organic assembly that is us, and that medicine mostly doesn't always just solve problems or cure diseases. It gives our bodies the tools to fix themselves, or removes the offending consequence of the symptom. This is especially true in the area of orthopedics, which has been my area of interest and is commonly thought of as bone carpentry. Bones are cool. From birth to death, our bones change. They take years after birth to form fully, changing in response to our environment and the available resources as we develop. By the time we are adults, our bones have replaced themselves many times, creating, if we're lucky, a structurally sound mechanism to allow us not to be jellyfish. What keeps our bones healthy is dependent primarily on one thing: blood flow. If we break a bone, it is the blood flow in our body that allows the bones to knit together to reform functionally close to the unbroken ones. So, if you want healthy bones, you need healthy blood. So what makes healthy blood? Besides having the right parents, grandparents, ancestors, etc., eating a healthy diet with a balance of nutrients is a good start. But there's more. Healthy blood requires healthy lungs and healthy kidneys and a healthy heart. To move that healthy blood requires a healthy heart. On and on it goes, all the way down to each cell healthily doing its assigned job. And a nutritious diet is essential to making healthy bones. Having a healthy diet, but being inactive, makes the flow of your blood slow and makes it less effective, keeping your bones and the rest of your body healthy, or makes it, as a result of that inactivity, can lead to atrophy of your musculature and reduction in bone mass. If you don't lose it, or you don't use it, you lose it, they say. So your bones are preloaded with respect to your musculature. That is, if you took all your bones away automatically, you'd go like that. So, not a good idea. They respond directly to stress and strain and have neurological receptors that allow them to sense the loads, or lack thereof, that your body is subjected to and grow or shrink in response. So, your bones require a healthy brain to properly regulate the growth and to keep them balanced with respect to the environmental conditions. Without a healthy brain, however, you might have problems with your vestibular system that keeps you balanced against gravity, and that allows you to stand upright and walk. When this fails, we fall, and when we fall, we typically break our fall with parts of your body that are supported by your bones, that then break if the forces are larger than the bone's ability to handle it. Insurance companies spend a great deal of money researching how to help people avoid fractures by studying their vestibular system and their brain. So how do you build a healthy brain? Remember the use it or lose it statement? Again, nutrition and staying away from environmental toxicity is all the more important, but it's also much more difficult when you're in a social desert where you might have poverty or crime, etc. So a key to the healthy brain is to make sure that you have the right conditions and that you use that brain. From childhood, getting the right amino acids into your system can help make your brain strong. I remember reading about a bizarre study once where a group of children in the 1960s were given only brains to eat as protein. They ended up smarter on average than the normal group who were given just regular food on standardized tests. Now, I don't recommend this particular diet, especially due to the discovery of prion-based diseases, like mad cow disease. But the idea of giving kids proper nutrition just makes sense. Healthy brain will, in most cases, lead to the possibility of a healthy mind. And of course, a healthy mind starts from childhood with nurturing and love and interaction. Researchers have pointed out that children who have been spoken to and interacted with by adults in a caring and kind way, hearing on average 2 million more words than children who do not, will on average end up with graduate degrees versus incarceration. So if you want your children to have healthy minds, then read to them. With more education, we will have a healthier society. Recently, a renowned surgeon, Dr. Court Brown, from the University of Edinburgh, who is an expert in the repair of bone fractures, started looking at the relationship between fractures and the epidemiology of that is where they come from, with particular focus on social deprivation. So again, poverty, crime, etc. You have to live in a healthy and just society if you want healthy bones. And as Margaret Mead suggests, your bones and the evidence of their repair point to your belonging to a society that, if healthy, could provide you with the evidence that your society is healthy too. As you can see, everything is connected. Bones by themselves can't dance, regardless of the swashbuckling, daring acrobatics Harry Harryhausen might want you to believe in his movie special effects. To dance, you need bones, but you also need muscle, blood, lungs, brains, nutrition, mind, community, and society, and environment too. All of these requirements create a quality of life worth dance and joy. So don't sit idly by. Get up, create a healthy and just society. Dance and exercise, play, get your heart pumping, that healthy blood, which is healthy because you eat good food, drink lots of water, especially in this weather. that will keep your muscles strong and your bones will know and change to adapt to your environment. Your blood will be healthier and your lungs will work better and your brain will be active and your mind will come alive, which will allow you to get up and to create a healthy and just society. Thank you. With that, I would like to open the mic for congregational feedback. Please.
Good morning. I'm Kinsey. You know I have something to say on this. But I'm going to limit it to a thought that I really liked to share in my yoga classes when I would teach yoga, and that was the 3 most important things you will ever do in your life. Breathe, drink water, and rest. Breathing, not just, oh, gotta have oxygen, right? Like, that's obvious. But when you breathe consciously, and here I'm like, okay, my heart's racing, right? So I gotta breathe. When you breathe consciously and intentionally to a counted breath or just mindful breath, you're massaging your parasympathetic nervous system, which reduces cortisol and makes a happier brain. When you drink water, well, okay, this one's obvious, right? You gotta have water to have enough healthy blood and for your cells to function and have your electrolyte balance and all those wonderful things. So yeah, drink water. And it's always more than you think you need. And third, resting. And this is probably the hardest one for us to do because our whole society is based around work and productivity, not self-care. This is something that we've really been paying more attention to in our household, particularly since I recently heard an NPR article, and I cannot tell you what it was. I listened to about 10 minutes of it, and that 10 minutes told me to get rid of devices at home. So we've instituted an experiment in our household for the last few days, about 2 days last week, and then Friday and Saturday kind of had the comparison control situation. We've stopped exposing ourselves to electronic devices at about 2 hours before bedtime to get away from that blue light exposure that actually tells your brain to wake up. So when you look at it right before you go to sleep, and then you turn it off and you lay down and you're like, I can't sleep. Well, your hormones are literally telling your brain to wake up. Yeah, it was really interesting to learn that. And sorry I can't cite the source. I feel bad about that. But so rest and putting ourselves in a situation and environment to be able to rest so that your brain can function, so that your immune system can function and repair and build bones and organs. That's it.
So one thing that you were... Hi, I'm Tricia Wagoner. One thing that we know now is the effect of what's called adverse childhood experiences, ACEs. And you can track brain development and the effects of ACEs on brain development in small children. And it's really humbling to look at what happens, to how the brain veers off an entirely different direction when exposed to extreme childhood trauma. But here's the hopeful part. One caring adult in a child's life can help reduce the effects of childhood trauma. Let us all be a caring adult in a child's life.
Hear, hear.
Good morning. My name is Rob Cook. I have a wonderful experience in my life in that I belong to a men's group. It's been ongoing for quite a while. I've been a member since I was, 60. So one of the things we do, we're encouraged to do in that group, is to develop a personal mission statement. And this mission statement is what I am all about, what I want. It's my guide. And other men in the group use their mission statement as their guide. And each one, of course, is independent. So my mission statement is I co-create a world, I co-create a healthy world that by modeling my own healthy lifestyle and choices. And this serves me. As you know, I was diagnosed with celiac disease fairly recently, and my health was under attack. So my health has been primary for me lately. So I encourage everyone to take a look and ask yourself, what am I about? What is my personal mission statement? It's a good exercise.
Thank you, Rob.
Needless to say, in our crisis intervention team program, we always talk about one caring policeman can make a big difference with the child who has been through ACEs. Also, I want to mention in my own experience, I grew up with a kid who had lots of ACEs, so to say, and there was a shop teacher by the name of Al Cook who was the caring adult, and that person ended up being superintendent of schools in Lawrence. One person makes a difference.
Hi, my name is Walt Racker. Thank you, Micah, for your insightful and helpful contribution. I have to confess, I was a little late getting on the Dolly Parton bandwagon. As a performer and musician, she really never resonated with my musical taste until I discovered that this woman, and I'm getting goosebumps, has given away 200 million books to the children of America. And our youngest daughter, Hillary, is a reading teacher in southeast Kansas where they need good teachers. And she pointed out to me that the greatest single indicator of a child's success in life is not the education of the parents, their gender identity, or their financial circumstances, or where they live. It's the amount of time their parents spend reading to them when they're children. Thanks.
I just wanted to kind of extend it to be saying that there are plenty of adults who have ACEs too and go through traumatic experiences, and it's a very often, once again, is one caring adult or one caring congregation who can make the difference with the ACEs the person has gone through. So I want to say personally thank you to my one congregation, and I'm definitely going to thank my caring adults very, very soon in the future. So thank you.
I'm Iris. Commentary on our society. Our society worships violence, and it also. Our society worships violence, and it worships automobiles, and our country is built around cars. As much as I would like to ride my bike places, I can't. I live up north. It's 2-lane roads, they're up and down, they wind a little bit, and there's no shoulder. If something happened, if somebody ran me off the road, I could go into a culvert, I could just go into a ditch, in which case I'd be luckier, but it wouldn't be good. And that takes us to taking away opportunities for weight-bearing exercise. And it doesn't happen. Pedometers are a thing. How many of you just going about your normal daily activities without consciously adding steps to your routine come near 7,000 or 8,000 steps a day? It doesn't happen. Yeah. Well, your normal act without going out of your way for exercise. So, and I know you go out of your way. But I think this is something that we really need to work on, is basically trying to build a walkable society. Y'all who live in town have things a little easier. I mean, if I lived in town, I could ride my bike to the library. But as it is, it's not happening. So, you know, I basically loaded my bike onto my rack in my car and drove it to Gage Park last week at one point. I was gonna load it on today and ran out of time. So anyway, things to think about, but trying to work weight-bearing exercise in with kids is a big thing. We took our kids to hiking paths at the History Museum, which has a really nice network of paths. We took them to the North Community Center, and they got exposure to nature. Walking the dog gives them good exposure to nature, too. That's all we can do.
Hello, my name is Cheyenne. My name is Cheyenne. If any of you know my dad, you know that he is like the bike man. So cycling was very important to me growing up. It was a source of freedom. I could go anywhere I wanted to go as long as I could get there on my bike. And I would meet up with friends. I would go down to a local shop or, you know, whatever I wanted to do. And a bike really meant freedom for me. And it was also great exercise. And I think a lot of teenagers nowadays view getting their license and getting a car as freedom. But driving is scary. Like, driving is so scary. I've only had my license for 2 years, and here recently I nearly got ran off the road by a person coming the wrong way down the road. It was terrifying. I had to switch places with Dylan so he could drive us the rest of the way home. But if bike paths were more accessible all over the country, a bike could mean freedom to teenagers again, to kids again. And it's, depending on where you're riding it, it's safer than in a car. And I think that's something that's really important that we've kind of lost.
Thank you, Cheyenne. Your bones like exercise, so that's really important.
I don't know if it's kosher to get up here twice or not,
Yeah,
but
that's fine.
I can't not comment on that because I lived in a non-bike friendly city and went entirely by bike with Morgan as a family for 2.5 years. My cargo bike. And yeah, it was freedom. Not just from being trapped in a house without, a lot of access to a city that doesn't have great transportation, but it was financial freedom. I didn't have a car payment. I could fix my transportation myself. And the parts and tools were generally a lot cheaper. Freedom of health. Freedom of imagination. Oh my gosh, to be able to ride home from school with Morgan and pretend that we're in a rocket ship and we're chasing aliens. I mean, freedom to build community with my own family. And freedom from environmental impact. I'll never forget the first day I owned a car again. And I was like, yes, I'm going to go pick Morgan up from school in a car. And then I sat in traffic for 30 minutes, and I was like, I could have been home 20 minutes ago. So, yeah, I second and third everything that's been said about cycling. It's been a central part of mine and my husband's lives for a long time, and the societal benefits of cycling when it is a form of transportation and not a plaything, which is really what we're kind of forced into when you have to put a rack on your car to go ride your bike. It becomes a plaything. The impact could be really tremendous.
For this group, I think I'll change dance to cycling.
No, you gotta do both.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Thank you all. Please join me in our closing song. It's 1051 in the songbook if you have one. It's called We Are. Yes, and it's printed on the order of service. Yes, if you need a copy. Okay. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises, sings to the universe who we are. We are grandmother's prayers. We are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. We are mothers of courage and fathers of time. We are daughters of dust and sons of great visions. We're sisters of mercy and brothers of love. We are lovers of life and builders of nations. We're seekers of truth and keepers of faith. We are makers of peace and wisdom of ages. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. We are mothers of courage and fathers of time. We are daughters of dust and sons of great visions. We're sisters of mercy, brothers of love. We are lovers of life and builders of nations, seekers of truth and keepers of faith. We are makers of peace and wisdom of ages. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. We extinguish this chalice, but take its light into our lives. to be the presence of love in the midst of fear, and the voice of hope in the face of despair, and the hands of justice restoring the world worthy of our children.